Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the program Business Time here on Times. My name is William Kumwembe. This is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And in the program today, we review the 2022 tobacco selling season, which closed last Friday, as both revenue and traded volume were seen to be shy of the projection. And also in the program today, we speak to Eskom Chief Executive Officer on the recent proposals for a possible hike in electricity prices. That's inside Business Time. Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, and in our main story in the program today, the 2022 tobacco selling season ended last Friday with mixed reactions from various sectors of the industry. Now, this comes as the country has been able to realize about $181.3 million against $194.9 million, which it realized last year. This comes as the country has also been able to sell about 85 million kilograms of all types of tobacco compared to 150 million kilograms of international demand. However, despite the two variables, the country seemed to have earned relatively better prices this year compared to what the buyers were offering last season, as the country's leaf was on average fetching about $2.14 per kilogram compared to $1.50 per kilogram. Our journalist from Mzuzu, Feston Malekezo, has been following the trends on the tobacco market and has filed this report.
After rigorous work in the fields, tobacco farmers have to reap their sweat here at the tobacco auction floors, where forces of or market forces, supply and demand, play a crucial role in the sales of tobacco in the country. McDevin Hone is one of the farmers in the country, a longest farmer to be particular. Now he is growing under a club in Rumpi district. This time around, he is optimistic to grow about 5,000 kilograms of tobacco. But then the production is slightly lower as compared to what he has been producing in recent years. He says this has been such because of, among others, high cost of farm inputs.
Ini kuyana ini nizamugulisa 5,000 kgs. Hapa chitinga kumba meka tukumba ka fertilizer basi. Osatiza soya sia nteza izi karingati zichokepo.
But looking at Mohone's predicament, it is the same scenario in the country where both earnings and production have been going down in recent years. Take, for example, figures from AHL Group indicate that this year the country has produced about 85 million kilograms of tobacco, raking in the country about 181 million US dollars. This is still slightly lower as to what the golden leaf produced in the previous season, where the country generated about 191 million US dollars from about 121 kilograms of tobacco. But the government still insists that this is a strategic crop that by all means we need to invest heavily on it. Talking about the 2021-2022 growing season or marketing season of tobacco, minister responsible, Agriculture Minister, that is Lobin Lowe, is still hopeful, or started by saying the 2021-2022 growing season was one of the best, as the leaf was fetching highly. The average was about $2.1 per kilogram. We had a talk with him on how he viewed the 2021-2022 season and going forward his expectation in the next season.
Last season the prices were just very good. The only worrying thing is the supply. We had very little tobacco, but this time we feel we have the required supply, the required volumes. That's what we are fighting for. So far, it seems farmers are excited because of the average price appreciated so far, because we are talking of $2.14 for the first time in the history of tobacco. So there is excitement amongst farmers. Farmers would like to grow tobacco this season. But the only challenge could be quality. So we are encouraging quality product this season. That's the message that is going to farmers. And if you observed from these farmers, you appreciate that farmers were worried regarding loan that they got from buyers, which was non-tobacco related. But we have actually delivered the right information. It was like in Chichewa Caterpillar. They were given non-related tobacco inputs. At the end of the day, the deduction was done offshore. So we are actually losing a lot of forex as a country. And to the advantage of Tobacco Commission, this time farmers seem to realize that they were actually cheated. They were given low deal.
This year, the country expects to grow tobacco, or the demand out there needs the country to grow about 140 million kilograms of tobacco. If you look at the figures, this is also lower than what the country expected to grow in the ending season, where buyers, international buyers, wanted about 150 million kilograms of the leaf. This is not surprising why commentators have always urged farmers or the country to also to diversify their crops. Much as commentators are agitating for crop diversification, this looks like a new phenomenon to most of the farmers. Of course, some farmers have embraced it, and we talked to one of the farmers who has diversified. Apart from growing tobacco, she is also doing other crops, and this is what she told us.
Maganizo amene wanandibwerera kale moti ndikukamba pano sokuti kufamu kwanga kundalima foja ikai ndalima ntedza.
I have already given it a thought, because as I speak, I already have 5 acres of groundnuts and 10 acres of maize. I have done that because I have farmers I need to feed.
However, though earnings production for tobacco continue going down, pointers have it that the crop will remain Malawi's strategic crop in the next few decades.
Now, while tobacco seems to be gradually losing its charm, the country has been preaching diversified production. Cotton is seen as the next possible big thing. The crop has this far raked in about 8 billion kwacha, which is a substantial amount compared to the same time last year. Our journalist Chimwemwe Mangazi has more in this report.
Earnings from cotton have risen to 8 billion kwacha from 3.6 billion kwacha realized at the end of the 2021 season, according to figures from the Cotton Council of Malawi. This represents a 122% growth. Cotton Council of Malawi Executive Director Cosmas Luanda says 15,800 metric tons of cotton seed have been sold on the market this season, out of the projected 20,688 metric tons.
The cotton market reaching this far has gone on pretty well because despite a number of challenges, you have seen the cotton from all farmers, especially in Lower Shire and other areas in the southern and central regions, being bought, all of it. And I think the prices also have been significantly higher than what was expected. And therefore, farmers have been very, very pleased about the operation of the cotton market this season. I think the prices were maintained largely at 500 kwacha per kilogram, but remember that the minimum farm gate price that was announced by government was 400 kwacha. So the 100 kwacha increase on top, over and above the announced minimum price was quite a significant amount. But we also saw a few others hiking up the price from 500 to around 520 and thereabouts, which further excited cotton farmers. Yes, as we are talking now, because there are a few other areas that have not closed buying as of yet, we have recorded 15,800 metric tons of cotton so far, which, according to the income that has gone into the farmers' pockets, is being estimated at around 8 billion Malawi kwacha. So that's the amount. But to remind also that the projection that we have from our production estimates is that we may be getting 20,666 metric tons of cotton. And therefore, we hope that this figure might go higher than what we have announced now. We still have some cotton remaining to be bought in the northern region, especially in Karonga, and a few other areas in the central and southern regions. But most of the cotton has already been taken up by off-takers. We have given an additional length of days of around 15 or so days. We are almost midway the month of August. We expect that by end of this August, we should be closing the market, because by that time, I think the off-takers will have finished buying cotton from Karonga, and we should be able to close at that note.
He further says the council has been engaging 2 buyers that failed to participate fully on the market to address the challenges they faced.
Now, what we would say is that, yes, I think there were those hiccups on the market. You know, the 2 buyers that failed to successfully join the seed cotton marketing season were newcomers on the market. And they faced challenges in securing adequate financing to buy the seed cotton. But we know the problems that they faced are problems that can easily be overcome, because I think they faced hurdles in securing a ginning agreement, with the existing ginners. But we hope, with adequate time being provided, that conversation, that negotiation can be concluded way before the next season starts. So they should be able to secure financing and join the market in a better and big way in the coming season. So we expect that we have a vibrant, participation of private sector companies in the cotton market the coming season, of which I think farmers must not get disappointed, but be able to understand that being a newcomer, those companies were likely to face such hurdles as they start to interact on the market. So we are looking seriously into those challenges. We are discussing with ADMAC to open up their ginneries so that they should be able to offer toll ginning services to any private sector company that would like to support farmers to produce cotton.
President of the Cotton Farmers Association, Dickson Gundani, says the disruption brought about by failure of the 2 companies to enter the market will greatly affect cotton production next year.
Remember, this is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. We'll be right back, and when we get back, we will, among other things, speak with Chief Executive Officer for the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, over proposals for tariff adjustments going forward. Welcome back. This is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And moving on with the program, the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, and the Power Market Limited have moved to propose a 99% tariff adjustment for electricity to the Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority. We speak to the Chief Executive Officer of the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi to find out the rationale behind the option, as well as how sustainable could it be.
Electricity is regulated by MERA. So the tariff regime runs for 4 years. The first, or the just ended, or which is ending, the tariff regime ending now, was effective 2018. For 4 years, so by September this year, the 4 years is coming to an end. So we are mandated to apply for a new tariff regime from 2022 to 2026. This application is not only for Eskom, it's for the whole sector. We've got the power producers, including Egenco, we've got Eskom, and we've got Power Market Limited, which is responsible for a single buyer. So what came up in the papers, 99%, it's not only for Eskom. Eskom has their portion, the producers have got their portion, and the single buyer has got their portion. So the process is that we apply to, we submit what we do, what we call a base tariff filing to MERA with our proposals, all the players in the power sector. So MERA is going to look at the proposals. In fact, they need to do public hearings. These things will go to the public. That's why they're in the papers. MERA is going to do public hearings. They're going to hear views from customers and other stakeholders on the proposals made by the power sector. I think I want to demystify the fact that this is Eskom's application. This is not Eskom's application. It's a power sector application for a new tariff regime effective September this year to October or September 2026. So in short, that's what I can explain as what is happening through the press releases. Yeah, there are several factors. You know, things have gone up. I'll give an example. The independent power producers, they charge us in dollars, but we pay them in Malawi Kwacha. We convert at the payment date based on the ruling date at that day. So as you know that the Kwacha has undergone a devaluation. So Eskom we must find the money somewhere, Kwachas, to pay these IPPs. As of now, the end user tariff has not gone up. The IPPs are charging us in dollars. We are converting Malawi Kwacha, but Eskom somehow must find money to pay for these power purchases. So to bridge this gap, we need to apply for what we call a cost-reflective tariff. As you know, 2018 is a long way back. The cost of things have gone up, materials, so we take that into consideration. What the market forces are, we make an application to MERA that because of the increase in costs, the cost of production and cost of distributing the power, Eskom is a business. So we want to recover those costs by applying for a cost-reflective tariff. That's why we have this process going on. I must say that it was not implemented in full. You know, what happens is when we apply for the tariff filing, we are given KPIs, what we call key performance indicators. So Eskom must meet those key performance indicators. For example, on energy loss, we are allowed 18% energy loss, but if you go beyond 18%, then it becomes a problem. So if you are looking for a tariff increase, MERA is going to look at those issues, whether we achieved our targets or not. If we achieve our targets 100%, MERA is going to give us an increase based on what we agreed in the tariff. But if we fell short of our KPIs, then MERA, they come back to us and say, no, you didn't achieve this, therefore we'll give you 5%. So even if we're saying that now we need a 99% increase in tariff over the coming 4 years, that's only a plan. But what happens on the ground is different. If we don't achieve our targets, MERA will only give us an increase based on the achieved targets. So that's how it works. Let me explain it in this way. There are two levels at which a profit is reported. There is what we call gross profit, then there is what we call operating profit. Now, for Eskom, you will notice that even at gross profit, if we take what we've billed our customers, less the power that we purchase from the IPPs, including Egenco, we are already making loss. Like, for example, since 2018 to March 2022, we have collected 286 billion from customers, but we have been billed 340 billion. So at gross profit level, before we talk even about salaries or these inefficiencies, Eskom is already making a loss. So yeah, at the operating profit level, there's also a problem. Yeah, I agree with the sentiments that we had lots of inefficiencies, misprocurement. That only made things worse. Because at procurement level, Eskom had a loss of 53 billion. But if you add in all these inefficiencies, that's why it came up to 112 billion. So the difference is a result of including the misprocurement and the misuse of resources at ESCOM. So yeah, these issues are at two levels. But our worry is, even at the gross profit level, ESCOM is already making a loss before even pay salaries, before we buy materials. That's the worry. Maybe if the tariff were only to cover, to break even at gross profit level, then we could maybe make sure that we realign ourselves, we become more efficient. But even at the procurement, because at procurement, then ESCOM has no powers, because the power purchase agreements are actually agreed with the Power Market Limited, which has a license for a single buy.
Now, moving on to other business news, the National Planning Commission has moved with an initiative where it has recognized various individuals for popularizing the Malawi 2063, which is the country's long-term development blueprint. The Commission's board chairperson is Richard Mkandawire. He sheds more light on why the move now and what possible impact could it have in as far as making the dream a reality.
I think as a nation, it's very clear that we need to run instead of actually walking. If we are to catch up with the rest of the global south, including our neighbors, we really need to expedite the process. We need to make sure that in our planning process and implementation, we hasten to implement. Slowness is not going to help us at all. We need to be counted as one of those nations that is among the rising African nations, and there's an opportunity under Malawi 2063 to begin to really run around those defined priorities by Malawi 2063, more particularly as we implement our medium-term plans to 2030. I think all of us recognize that in every sector, in every pursuit of life, they are champions. They are champions in rural areas. There are champions who are musicians. There are champions in commerce. There are champions who are politicians. And we know, who these are. And it's very important that, these individuals are recognized, first of all, because we have a tendency, I think, in this country to recognize people when they're gone and they're dead. But it's important that we really capitalize on our sons and daughters who are alive and who are actually doing commendable work in driving development of this nation. And we want to make sure that under the Malawi 2063, their voices are amplified, that they provide that visibility of the efforts they're making on the ground, and that as a nation, we really begin to speak together. And we want to be inclusive in recognizing these individuals, whether they're from rural areas or whether they're young people, whether they're individuals with disabilities. All of them in their own right can become champions of who they are. I think we need to appreciate that these political leaders from His Excellency Dr. Hastings Kamuzubanda and through the other presidents, they have actually played a very critical role in a number of areas and we need to begin to sustain those contributions. This is why we're saying that part of the hallmark of establishing the National Planning Commission is to ensure that there is continuity of development processes. We don't want a situation to arise where one leader comes in and then they identify their own small-scale project and then it's abandoned next time another leader comes into power. And we are very delighted that, again, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has begun to really pay attention to continuity of programs that were initiated by the other presidents. And this should be the spirit in ensuring that there's continuity of development processes so that we build on the foundation that was laid by previous leaders. And, indeed, these are politicians who made significant contribution, and I think we need to applaud, those contributions.
Well, with that, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and bye for now.